you. Yeah, you. Are you tired of the same old video games? Well, look no further, brother. Immerse yourself in the wonderful retro world of Ye Fenny. The wise old whipling needs your help to defeat the evil good shepherd and save the land of Ye Fenny once and for all. Are you up to the task, sailor? Battle your way through the troublesome fairgrounds, underwater realms, rivers and farmlands controlled by killer sheep and a fairly large woman with a cordless drill. Eventually facing off in the ultimate showdown with me, the evil good shepherd. If you like tugging at those nostalgia heartstrings, then you need this game in your life. I need it. Ye Fenny, Revenge of the Evil Good Shepherd, coming this winter. Are you ready?
All right, welcome to another Reactor stream. This is Chris with Click Team, and yes, it's time to actually play Ye Fenny. We promised him we'd play him. It's been 2 streams we missed, so we're going to play it today. If you're not familiar with the game, it's on Steam currently. Pretty interesting intro. If you were here earlier, you just saw the trailer. I haven't played it yet, so I have no idea if it's any good. We're going to give it a shot. I've got the Xbox controller. Apparently, it's Xbox controller support, full controller support, as you can see there. Only $4.99 on Steam, and it's also on Android. Let's see if we can find that. Android, Ye Fenny. And, well, here's his website, so that'll give us a link. Actually, that just went to the Steam page. There you go. Here's the mobile edition. So $1.49 on Android and $4.99 on Steam. And it comes with this cool icon of this guy in a straw hat, so that's cool. So let's get the game started and see what it's all about. Oop, wrong button. Yeah, play now. Okay, there we go. So it's detected my joypad. That's kind of cool. Let you know that you've connected the joypad. Let's check out the intro.
A long, long time ago, back in 2003, I made a planet for the Fennians called Ye Fenny. It was once a happy place where the Fennians could eat butterbark and smoke joyfully.
Butterbark.
But one day, a tyrant by the name of the Evil Good Shepherd took over the planet and banished me to a golden kettle. Can you, the Outlander, cleanse the planet and bring peace and harmony back to Ye Fenny?
Good question. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm going to be good enough. So, Dave and Nick, copyright 2003, that's great. Alright, let's press the button 1 to go to the main menu. Options, let's see, here we go. Let's see if they have an easy mode for wieners like myself. You guys could hide the mouse. Practice mode, normal mode, extreme mode. We'll go normal mode. Oh, that's weird. Why would you have 2 different... Alright. Credits. Let's see if they mention Fusion. Let's give them a shout out if they put Fusion in here. Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones and Mr. Lloyd. Oh cool, they made their own music. Freesound.org is awesome. I use it all the time. green screen actors. Special thanks. Let's players. Oh no fusion credit. Oh well. Can't have everything. Alright, let's give it a shot. Well, let's do a new game, because I can't load one, I haven't played it yet.
He's coming! He's coming, child.
Is he the one? Old Whippling?
Indeed. He is the one. The preferential one.
So I guess we're the preferential one. Well, they did some pretty good green screen work so far. Ow. Did he steal Mario's outfit? Someone get that guy some cough medicine. Yes, you.
A Fenny welcome, young outlander. I am the wise old Whippling. My spirit is weak. If you stand any chance of defeating the evil good shepherd, you will need a little help along your way. I will do my best to guide you. Beware of good shepherd's bullocks.
Oh my.
They will shoot you with venom. Huh? Take some of my Fenny powers now, outlander, and make haste towards good shepherd's fortress. I believe in you.
What? What? I like what he mouthed there. That was great. Alright, so I guess we enter the level. Press and hold button 1, fire projectiles forward. Auto fire might make you fire slower. Okay. Press and hold button 2 to fire projectiles backwards. Press button 3 or mouse click the object button to view the objectives. Okay. Double mouse click the exit button to exit the game. You will lose all game progress on the ground. Very good. Arrow shows me the nearest enemy. Or next enemy. Direction we would take. Okay. Destroy all the bollocks plaguing the way. Okay. Alright. Okay, so that's button 1. And I'll shoot whatever direction I'm facing. Okay, so I can walk backwards and shoot. That's kind of cool. And I'm assuming these are collectibles. Oh, Alex shooting Yucko. Ow. There's a turret there. Okay. Don't we want to get all the... I wonder if I can go in the house. Okay. Okay, he's gone. So button 3 for objectives. Okay. Button 3 gets you back out. Just got myself some food. Looks like you can shoot the poison too, that's kind of cool. Oh, more food. So I can't really... Do I get hurt if I hit one of these guys? Ow, yes. Oh boy. Ow. Ow. Oh, there's more stuff over here. Let's go get ourselves killed trying to get it. Like I am.
Power up!
Power up. Alright, that's enough murder there. Another apple. Ow. Oh boy. There's a couple spook houses. So, is there a counter telling me how many of those things I've collected? Do you guys see a counter anywhere? Let's see. There's a timer. Almost out of health, that's not good. Find the exit. So I've killed all the ball exits, so I just have to make it to the exit. Which is just the bottom of the screen. Okay. Fairbanks Bluff completed. Excellent. Looks like you just go to the next level. Which is... Generator's up. Uh-oh. More amusement park fun. Oh! That's it, I'm dead. Maybe there's a... Oh! Look at that. Apparently you get multiple lives. That's generous. He's in there somewhere. I think, you know, rather than this reverse shoot button, guys, just an opinion, maybe, like if I'm shooting this direction and I hold the button, I can hold that direction. Does that make sense? Because, like a strafing button rather than a reverse shoot button. Because then I could charge and shoot, and then holding that button, still be shooting in that direction no matter what I do. But this reverse thing makes it hard to aim, if that makes sense. Just an opinion. Just a humble opinion. Plot twist. So we have a user, Sarah26, who suggested that it's made with standard and thus with no logo. Perhaps they're in violation of the user agreement. And in fact, indeed, if it was made in standard and they didn't include the logo, that would be a violation. That's correct. We try not to be too pushy about that, because in the end we just want people to make cool games. But we do really appreciate it that if you enjoy using Fusion, that you do include a logo. We are working on some actually really cool looking logos, so that it's, you know, have something cool to go with your game. Looks like I just did some sort of special power up. I don't know exactly what happened. Wish I could go in these rooms. For some reason I think we should be able to go into the fun houses. Hey, there's one of those things I gotta kill. Oh, another mutated funny. So I guess the chocolate bar or whatever it was some sort of power up. Oh! Ow. Alright, we're looking for more bollocks to kill. Am I saying it right? You know, I'm very American in my pronunciations of things, and bollocks is certainly not an American word. Oh! Alright. die. Oh, off to the exit. Let's set up a mine first. Okay, I mean, am I getting points for collecting these? I can't see what that does. Maybe it's in the objective menu? Ah, real orient. Okay, so there, it's just where I'm collecting it. Invincibility chocolate. We haven't saved any Fennies yet. Is that a bad thing? Oh, it's getting dark out. Oh no! Lost time. That's great. Lost time! I'm getting hammered. Yeah, we're not gonna do too well here. Maybe we can just do it this way. Yeah, that'll work. Let's grab some food before we move on. Stage 1, Phase 2! Completed! It's outstanding. Looks like someone wants help. They're gonna have to wait till after the stream. Oh! Cutscenes are worth it.
You have fared well, young Outlander. The bullocks are dead! And they prove to be
Is
a
that
tough
Manson? I mean, look what's on his forehead. Is that Manson in
Go
disguise?
forth and make haste to Custard Prison, where the evil wardens John Guard and Gay Hunter have forcefully imprisoned my brave Fenians on false charges. Free my Fenians, Outlander. They don't deserve this injustice. Beware of John Guard. He is one of Good Shepherd's most trusted allies. Now fuck off!
Wow. Alright then. Save 100 or more. Alright. All supplies. What do we get here? So I can spend my coins on this? Okay, yeah. Interesting. So 5 health for 12, or 4 health for 11. So 5 for 12, 4 for 11, or 6 for 13. You're right, that is the best deal. Yeah, what do we got here? Alright. Let's see if that helps. So, quintessentially British is the game. Yes, I can see that. Activate all security switches to unlock the red door, leading the Hunter's office. Destroy him to reach your next destination. So it's murder then. This is one nasty prison. Can I switch weapons? No.
Power up!
Ooh, power up. So is this the switch? No. Ah, key. Okay. Now, does the key open up that? Yes, it does. Okay. You're done, buddy. So kind of a gauntlet feel right now. And there's a Fenny debris. Whoa. Protective chocolate. You gotta have that. Oh, I just lost all my chocolate. Oh well. It was good while it lasted. Wonder if you bought the chocolate at Sainsbury's. So where do I know how many keys I have? Okay, there we go. I got 4 keys. Food! Which probably didn't need. I probably should have saved that and gone back to it.
Swingin', swingin', swingin'.
Huh. Hello, friend.
Swingin', swingin'.
Someone? Are the Fennies blowing me up? I thought I was supposed to sit. Maybe they're not Fennies. I thought those were Fennies. Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
Swingin', bombin', bombin', bombin'.
Something just happened. Oh boy. Whoop. Something just beeps. Okay, how much you want to bet that hurts walking on that? Yep. Ah!
Swingin',
Swinging.
bombin', 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 bombin'.
Yippee! What's this? Oh, a switch! Once it turns the lava off. Or lowers a bridge. I guess something. There's more than one switch apparently. Switch action. Love the music. that does it. I made it to level 2. I can continue from the last map, or I can exit. I'm going to exit at this time. $4.99. It's their first game from what I understand, and obviously they put a lot of effort and time into it. If you like what you saw, give it a check. Check it out on Steam. I'll put the links up on our Patreon. I can put them all also up on the Twitter and Facebook. The other thing I thought we'd try to do tonight is we had a user on Steam ask me about how to do really big maps, tile-based maps. And of course, Fusion, you know, starts to, with any language really, a billion objects, it's, you know, the computer has to process all that. So how do we make a world where we can stream in and out the levels? I have in my head an idea how to do it, and I thought I'd give it a shot today. Maybe that's what we'll work on for the next couple streams. So the person I think is trying to make a kind of a 2D Minecraft, and it needs to manipulate all the blocks that they create. So perhaps we should start with the level editor that we did earlier. So let me go ahead and grab that. Go to here, open source examples, level editor, and we're going to build a level with it. All right, I think that's the right one. Actually, we should use that one. I think that's the latest version. So we'll close this. I said we'll close this. Great. And then we'll run the level editor real quick. Let's create something new. All right, so the level editor allowed us to do multiple tiles, and it doesn't really matter. I'm probably going to do an overhead to start, but let's just make something here that we'll be able to test with. And I believe the arrow keys allow me to move over. They do. And let's go to the bottom corner. Put a pink here. Just a block of pink so we know that this is the bottom corner. And let's keep going down. Give me a big map. Alright, yeah, good. So just ridiculous, just, you know, something stupid. It's a stupid level. Nothing good about it. But each one of these represents an individual tile that should be written into an array. And I believe, based on the user's comments, that an array would be the right way to go. So I want to get all the four corners. That's weird. All right. All right, good. So file, save level, test level. Okay, now let's make sure that that loads correctly. And these are level files or arrays. And there's our level. Great. All right, now I believe we had a level tester here, which we can use to steal our file from. So let's go back to I believe it's stored as a global value. There it is. Test level, I think is what we called it. Let's see if that works. Nope. So let's pull up the folder. Nope. Source samples, level editor, and here it is. So it's test level, one word with a capital L. Should have known. Test level. So let's run that now. And there's our world that we created. Okay, good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this code, file new, we'll go with a really small size, 320 by 200. And then we're going to take our level editor, we're going to drop it there. We'll save it in the same root folder. So level streaming. Remove the blank frame. And we should get something very similar when we load it, only in a smaller screen space. And we do, except it's pointed to the default value because we haven't assigned the global value. So let's go ahead and copy the name of our global value for global strings. And let's reassign that here in our new app. Wonderful. And then we're going to go ahead and pull the file name, which was test level. Put that here. And we call it test level again. And then we run it. Okay, good. So there's a level, but it's rendering the entire level. It's creating every single object. Now, I believe in our example, we're loading everything. And what we want to do is somehow, if we were to use a sketch tool, let's just use Photoshop real quick. What we want to try to do is, let's say that this square represents our screen. View space. That represents the view space. We want to be able to see whatever the level is that's in here, right? But we don't want all these other objects that are outside of the view space created as they currently are. When we run the app, we're creating all of these level components. Now, I believe in my example here, I'm actually adding them as a backdrop, and then later we destroy them. Yeah, we destroy them down here. But if we were to not do that, and let's just remove this, we'd have a high object count, 613 objects. So we want to be able to find a way to render only what's in here. And then as we move the view space around, we load in the elements that we need that are in the array and outload the elements that are not needed as they move off screen. So how do we do that? That's an excellent question. Well, removing the objects is fairly simple. What I'm going to first do is I'm going to remove the whole gravity bit. Let's just deactivate it. And then it should just stay. And then let's turn that character from a static movement. Let's give it an 8-direction movement so we can move around. And there you go. So we're moving around. And for some reason, it won't go down. What am I doing wrong? Let's take a look. Oh, the horizontal's being... So if we deactivate that, that'll solve that. So we'll deactivate this. And now I should have free roam. I do. Good. But the screen is no longer following him. So that's an additional event. Not a big deal. Always center screen. Scrolling center window position in frame next to our little guy. And now we're back to scrolling. Excellent. Okay, now, if we were to start up here in the corner like we are, we would want to only create the objects that you see here. So how do we do that? Let's first look at how we're loading the levels. We are setting the background color. So that's not what we need. That's based on a string value that's parsed out of the list object. Ah, okay. So this is actually using a list object, so it's not using an array, which is a problem. I thought it was an array. My bad. So we need to build an array with a we need to build a level editor with an array. So how are we going to do that? I guess we need to build a new level editor, huh? Not a big deal. Let's go ahead and take editor that we had here, drag it down. Let's manipulate it. Save data, load data, and run it. And do we still have the ability to move? No. So I guess we're gonna kill this. File, save as, level streaming, overwrite. So now that we're using this again, let's get rid of the logo so we can blow through this quickly. Blow through this quickly. So we run it, and we've loaded the previous level. Okay. We need to save it as an array now. So let's figure out how to do that. So the first thing we're going to need is an array object. There it is. And then we're going to deactivate on group activation. We could do it that way. Okay, so what we'll do is we can do a 3D array where, because we have multiple layers in our application, right? So the engine that we did before allowed us to have multiple layers. In this case, a total of 4. So in a 3D array, we can treat each level in the array as one of those levels representing layers in the app. So that's fine, that'll work. But for simplicity's sake, let's try to default just to the 3rd layer. So what we'll do is we will say if, and let's see how does it, yeah, it's loading all the objects, good. So we'll say when this group is open, pick a row at random. Yeah, pick one at random. Okay, that'll work. And then what we need to figure out is, I believe it's a 32 by 32-bit grid. It is. So what we need to do is get a little bit of most basic math. We'll test it first before we put it in. Because arrays are, of course, sequentially numbered, columns and rows. So let's get a string object. Hello, string object. There you are. Hello, my friend. And let's make sure we can see it. There it is. And then for giggles, we say change alterable string. Oh, sorry. Always change alterable string. So I want to distill the 32 by 32-bit sprite's position on the grid into its numeric row or column. So X and Y, but instead of it being 0, 0 or 0, 32 or 0, 64 or 32 or 32, which is what it shows. So for instance, if I was to take in a 32 by 32-bit grid, well, in fact, we'll just do it this way. The cursor position, I'm sorry, change alternate string, and then I believe we have a cursor object right there, position X. Now it's already snapping to, so what it'll return is 0, 32, 60, but we can't do that in the array because this would, if we wrote here, it would write to position 0, 0, all the way up here, and then it would write to position 0, 32, 0, 64, and in the array we need to break it down so that it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pretty easy to do. You just say here, and then you divide that by 32. So now it's sequentially numeric. Now what we'd want to do is, because it's returning a 0 value, we would want to take that value, encapsulate it, and then add 1. And now it should start when we're in the corner with 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And then we do the same thing for Y. So you can go into your formula after you tested it, grab it like you mean it, and then pick one of monster, and then in the array, we're going to write value to XYZ. So the value we're going to write is, believe we store the tile type in here. Tile number. Value. Tile number. And we're going to get rid of that 0. And then X. So it's going to be, instead of cursor X position, it's going to be the position of this particular object that we're pulling. And then for some reason we have too many closed brackets, so let's go ahead and kill that one. So X position divided by 32 plus 1. Perfect. And then we're going to copy that. And then for the Y position, we paste it in, and then we just swap it to Y. And then the Z index, which when we do the 3D array would be what layer it is. In this case, I'm just going to say 1. All right. And then after we do that, we destroy that instance of the object. Okay, so main editor, general code. I'm going to shortcut this. We'll just shortcut it so we can test it to make sure it's working. We need to create a new group, insert group, load, save data in array. We'll dump this in there. Then we edit, get rid of it so that it's not active at start. We're destroying it. And then finally at the end, we're going to say if picker count of groups is lower or equal to 0, it's always going to be 0, so you could say equal 0. And then we're going to save that array here, right, file, save array to file, use expression, and we'll say app path string my test.arr. All right, so then we need a shortcut key. So we're going to say keyboard upon pressing a key, and we'll say A for array. Chain, okay, group activated group, and that's going to be saved in an array. So we run it. We'll check our folder. Okay, so we know there's no array file in here. Well, it's by type, so it's alphabetical. And you can see there's no array. So we got the level, and then I hit the A button. And here it is, slowly deleting every piece. Now we'll get to a fast loop after so that it moves fast. But I wanted you to see the process of it removing all the objects. And it's still counting. No, it's not. Okay, so I think we're probably done. Let's go to level editor and sort again. And there it is. There's an array file. And it's... Okay, so we have a bug. My fault. My bad, y'all. So I'm saying number of the group reference points, which is what all the tiles are under. If it's greater or equal to 0, meaning we've gone through all the objects, then save the array to this following location. But I never closed the group, so it's consistently saving. That's why you saw the 0 and the 1, 0 and the 1 popping out, which is not a good thing. That's poor form on my part. So let's go ahead and just fix it all up. So let's do it actually on group activation, right? So when this group activates, we'll execute this line. And what we're going to do is we're going to say count for each object, save tile, copy our fast loop, and then here we're going to say on each object, right? And then we'll remove that because the fast loop itself, the on each loop will identify which one we're messing with automatically. And then when it's less than or equal to 0, we'll save and we will close the group. Let's see what we get now. So there's our level loaded from the list object. Then I hit A, everything's gone. Now let's go check our folder. And our array file has 1 kilobyte. So let's see what that looks like in our notepad. Don't save. And there doesn't seem to be any data. So I've done something wrong. Debug time. Right value. That should have worked. Now, it could be that I did not set this array correctly. And there it is. I set it to a text array. So let's try a number array and see what we get this time. So we're going to do that. We're going to go back into our folder. Click Team, Reactor, Open Source. Level Editor. And then we have this my test array. Let's remove that. Everything's sorting the way we want it. Run the app again. A for array. Everything's gone. Close it down. And there's our file. And notice it's now 16K instead of 1K. And the 1K is probably just the header for the array file. So let's see if we got some data in here. And we do have some data. There you go. So it looks like it's reading. So how do we test that? How do we test to see what's in the array? Well, one of the fastest ways to do that in Fusion, if you have developer, this only works if you have developer, is you can grab a special object we have in developer called the list view, which works as its own little spreadsheet. And what we will do is see if we can't open that up. So start a frame. Start a frame. Edit. File. Load file from array object. And use expression. App path. And the app path string command locates wherever the file is. Whatever your executable or MFA is. And I believe we named it my test array. So I'll copy that entire bit. Put that in there. And let's run it and see what happens. There it is. So there is data in there. And you'll notice that it's only 3 column, and that's because the default is only 3 column. We could, I thought there was a way to load another way to do it, which I probably should have done the first time, was to just open it in a spreadsheet like Excel. And I believe I have Open Office on here. So we want Calc, Open, and then we'll go to here, and then we'll go to Reactor, Open Source Examples, Level Editor, and then where's that array? Here it is. And please convert. And it opened it in the text editor. Didn't open in the. All right, so back to plan 1. We'll go here. New column, 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 new column. So I'm adding a bunch of extra columns, and you'll see now that the data spreads apart. So there's that line. Here's the other line, and then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see where it's the thick lines, because all of them were pretty much tile type 1. I believe at the top we had a different tile type. Yeah, so there's 3. There's a cluster of 3. 1, 3. Let's see. Let's run our editor again. So this is tile type 3, I believe. So we should actually have 3 in a cluster. Let's see if we can find the other ones. Oh, I'm going to go back here. Run it. Oop, run it. I'm not seeing the other ones. Maybe this. Okay, there it is. So there's one, and there's one. There's the 3 cluster. So the cool thing about an array is when dealing with map data, it's actually creating, you can almost visually see the map by looking at the numbers. Now, the reason why we did this is because now with an array, I can highlight this section right here, right? I could say that this is 0, 0 on my reading frame, the frame that I'm going to load the data. So if I start here, then I know how many 32 by 32-bit pixels X and Y a frame is, and I can make sure that this data is loaded in. And so what we do is, if we were to take this and say that, it doesn't look like I can select any of this stuff, so we'll go back to our Excel sheet real quick. And I closed it because I'm an idiot. But you guys knew that already. So let's just say that this is 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Let me do some of the old copy-paste drama here. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. No, I just want to do a little bit. Yes. And then we could take this and put that here. Yes. Okay. So this is a simulation of what we've done. And we can illustrate here. So let's say that when we start the game, it renders just these tiles. So we'll change that background color to green. So we render just this. Now what we could do is off screen, we could have in the buffer rendered these elements. Oh. We could render these elements, right? Because those are the next ones we would see when we move. And then as this green space moves to, let's say we move like this, if I'm making sense to you guys, and if it doesn't make sense, then just tell me I'm full of it, and I'll be like, yeah, I know. Then these become off screen and are no longer visual. And what we want to do is then load in these in the buffer off screen. Right? And then these over here, as we continue to move away, because they're no longer needed, right, we would then delete them, which would in turn keep the object count down. So that's what we're going to try to program. I believe, though, we're out of time for today, so I will pick this up next Friday. Mr. Insane, there's no problem. Can you please show a zoom in and zoom out with the camera? Okay, so there is no real zoom in and zoom out in Fusion with quote-unquote the camera. Now what you can do is you can write a decently complex algorithm that will scale whatever active objects you have on your screen, right? And then scale them down and reposition them off of a center point so that they scale down. So it looks like it's zooming down and zooming up. So what you're doing basically is you have a relationship from a center point of the size of the object and the distance from that center point. And you can scale those two values equally along the center point so that they squeeze down and squeeze up. We'll try to do that next week as well. So next week we'll do this level streaming. We'll finish this, and I'll work on it between now and then to try to get some of it done. And then we'll finish up with trying to do the scaling. A good example of scaling would be in Concrete Jungle. It's probably the best scaling I've seen in Fusion so far. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Concrete Jungle, games, Fusion Concrete Jungle. It's this one right here. Brilliant game. I've played it on Reactor before. It's a brilliant game. So we'll just go to custom game, play, start. Now all of these are active objects. Everything you see here is an active object. The only background that's static is the gradient in the background. That's gradient here. But when I use the mouse wheel, I can scale in and out. but I'm not scaling necessarily the frame. I'm scaling the individual objects, if that makes sense. You place an object, that's a new active object, I'm scaling that object, and it's scaling based on a center point. So that's how we can do scaling in Fusion. Now, the exception is HTML5 runtime actually allows you to scale the frame itself that you're viewing, but that's not cross-platform, and you don't want to write anything that is only for HTML5. You want to maintain cross-platform ability. So that's the best way to do it. So stick around next Friday. We'll work on that too, if that sounds good. And let's see. It's not simple, that's for sure. It is a bit complicated, but not as complicated as you might think. It's just a bit of math, and I mean, if you're doing programming, you have to do math, and you know they're going to go hand in hand. But I'll make it as simple as I possibly can. Yeah, well, again, the scrolling would actually probably work well with what we're going to build for the level loading, because you're right. Scaling and resizing, scaling and repositioning an object of that many would cost a lot. So, you know, you have to write software in Fusion that is resource friendly. You know, you do that in any language, but, you know, Fusion is definitely one of those things that you want to optimize your code. Jeff, how are you doing? Yeah, I believe that's how Concrete Jungles does it, yes. I actually asked Rye to send me the code. He did. It's buried in an email somewhere. I'll try to dig it out and make sure that that's how he does it, because I was really impressed with it. I'm very impressed with the game in general. I love the game. But yeah, that's, I believe, how he does it. But I'll confirm to make sure. So guys, I appreciate you waiting for me to stream again. I know it's been 2 weeks. Apologize for being sick, but I'm back, and we'll keep doing it. So next Friday, we know what we're going to do. We're going to get this level streaming done. It's something we'll need to do anyways, because if we hit 50 Patreon supporters, we're going to need it for our Minecraft example, a 3D version of it. And that's going to be a little layer of complexity. So we can start with the 2D and then map that onto the 3D when we get to that point. But yeah, the Minecraft and making a Minecraft engine in 3D with Firefly is pretty cool. And I've already got the basics done. So cool, let's see. And it's good to be back. So does anybody have any questions before I sign out and eat some sausage for dinner? Anybody? Comments, questions? Oh, one thing I did want to mention, if you're not aware, we posted on the blog last night that we're participating in Global Game Jam 2018. Global Game Jam. Okay, I can do it 3 times fast. Global Game Jam 2018. This is something that's been going on. This is its 10th year. And, you know, if you go to their websites, you can see what it's all about. It's kind of like our Click Jams, only, you know, it encompasses all forms of game development. And it's worldwide. And there may be one near you. You can find the locations here under this tab. But we're participating. And for you guys who probably already have Fusion, not a big deal. But if you could spread the word, it'd be great. We're giving away a copy of Standard during this 7-day period. Which includes the 4-day period of the jam. And if you install it with this serial number within that 7-day window, you'll have a copy of Fusion you can use in the game jam, and it will last until April 1st. So the April 1st joke is it's going to stop working on you. But, you know, we wanted to give new people exposure to Fusion, and this we thought would be a good way to do it. Plus, we love jams. Some of the coolest games we've seen come out of jams. So we're doing that. And we also have, due to it, we're selling Fusion. It's on sale and all the DLC, so you can take a look at the prices on Steam. Probably the easiest way to show you. The web store, actually, the easiest way to show you the prices would be Fanatical, because they make it look pretty. So 50% off developer and standard, and then 30% off all the exporters, and 66% off Firefly, and that's for the next 7 days. During the promotion. So if there's something you haven't picked up yet, great, please do. Get it for a friend, get them into gaming developments, you know, family, friends. And that is good on both Fanatical, Steam, and the web store, our own website for standalone versions. So appreciate you taking a look at that. And if you can, do some social media sharing. At the bottom, is another contest we're running for a giveaway where you can sign up for a newsletter and get extra points, drawings, if you follow Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and retweet it. So let me know if you guys have any questions of that. Is there any more other questions? Let's see. Fusion 3 blog post. I can tell you that there is going to be a Fusion 3 blog post fairly soon. That I think you'll have some exciting information in it. No, it's not going to be Fusion 3 is coming out tomorrow. Nothing like that. But it is an exciting development that we're moving forward with, and I think you guys will like it. So I'll have that soon. Soon. And by soon, I mean within the month. If we only knew it will come out during 2018. So we made the mistake of letting the programmers get motivated and make a release date. And the beast that is Fusion 3, you know, it's tough for 3 guys that are the primary team working on it to meet that date, which was supposed to be by the end of last year. So I'm not going to give you another date. I'm going to tell you that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're beta testing before the end of the year. That's our goal. It's a goal. It's not a promise. But you'll hear more about it when you see the update that I'm going to provide within the month. So hopefully that answers the question. Yes, well, you're going to be. That's why it's taking so long. Fusion 3 is doing some amazing things. Basically, Fusion 3 should be powerful enough that the average user who's good at eventing is going to be able to say, hey, I need new functionality. And instead of having to worry about writing a new object, you can write the object in events. That's pretty powerful stuff. So we're pretty excited about it. I would like to join the team as the animator for the library. Well, you don't have to wait. If you're an animator and you can create great art, start making some of that for ClickStore. We generate some decent money on ClickStore for the authors, and we're always looking for good libraries on there. I use them myself. I pop in and grab a library here and there, and you can sell it for whatever you want. 70% goes to you, 30% to ClickTeam, like your typical asset or, online store. And you can do it. Now, if we see something super exceptional, we may contract you after the fact and say, hey, can you make some libraries for ClickTeam? Absolutely. We need new libraries for ClickTeam. We want to update some of the classics. So expect a new, what's our shooter? Can't believe I'm forgetting the name of our shooter. A new Romeo and Juliet, a new Choco Break, a new, what is it? Can't believe I forgot the name of the shooter. It's horrible. That's how old it is. The one with the little orange chip. So we're going to try to update all those examples and make really high quality examples that can also serve as commercial releases of games. So that's one thing we need, and we'll need to work for it. There's nothing wrong with being a ClickTeam fanboy. That's me. Okay, well, if your items aren't selling, why don't you PM me what they are, and we'll take a look and see what we can do. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for tonight. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support of ClickTeam and the Patron. If you haven't signed up for the Patron yet, it is right here. That's what supports this stream. This is this month's items that are available. They'll be available if you sign up now come the 1st of next month. And we announced what the content for next month will be. The Beat 'em Up engine, which is incredible. The in-app purchases object for Androids through Amazon. And the Shoot 'em Up engine being developed by the same guy who's writing the game Dark Devotion. So that's one of his little engines. It's real simple and it's cross-platform, pretty cool. So that's what we'll be giving away next month, along with all the ClickStore Reactor exclusive open source examples. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we did release the procedural generation example just last week, I think it was. And, we worked on it online and we polished it up. So turn a few objects into this. And I made 3 examples. So you got your star map, you've got the world map, and then I made this maze game, which I actually polished into a full game. I got to put up on itch. So that's available now too as well. So awesome. And again, appreciate you guys watching. I'll stay on for a little bit longer for those who have questions. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you Friday.